Bosnak. Come on up, Dee. She's a New York City-based healer, teacher, and mentor. She's the creator of the comprehensive yoga system, Heal Yourself. And we'll hear maybe more about that later. Bee's been studying yoga, meditation, and the human condition for the past decade and continues to study philosophical and spiritual aspects of the practice from various disciplines. Please join me in welcoming Bee Bosnak. Bee, how about you? Why do you meditate? And how has your life changed since establishing a regular meditation practice?
So I think for me, why I meditate is to really find home, to return back to my nature. And I think that what we forget sometimes is that joy and love and happiness and all of these beautiful qualities are really part of our actual nature. It is fully part of us, but sometimes when life gets in the way, right, especially with stress, I think these things hold us back. So for me, pre-meditation, I was in a state of stress always, and this is, the fight and flight response, so of your nervous system. And when you're in the stress mode, you are in survival. That's what you're doing, and you're surviving. And when you're surviving, there is no space for growth and repair to take place. So when you're constantly surviving, it's like you're in this zone of protection. I want to protect myself from this thing, that thing, and there's no such thing as like being open or vulnerability. When I found meditation, many things in my life changed. I left my career, I left a marriage, I left my financial status, I left everything. And I moved to New York with $50 in my bank account, not knowing what I was going to do, where I was going to stay, how I was going to make it happen. But there was something inside of me, because of my practice, I was believing. And I didn't lose my belief. And I remember the first time moving into my apartment, getting my keys, there was this sense of, I am home now, I am home. And mind you, with the $50 that I had to take a cab to the leasing agent, and my dad wired me a full year's rent. And then that year I had to work even more so that I could pay him back. But I remember precisely going into that apartment. This is my space now, this is my home, but at the same time, the internal work that I was doing was affecting my external world. And I finally found that this is home. It's all in here. We spend so much of our time looking out there, right? What's out there for me? What about, what's in here for you? And I think for me it was the changing of my thoughts. We have those thoughts, right? It's always on repeat, it's on loop, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you fill in the blank. And it's about really changing the thought. When you change the thought, you then change the choice, you then change your behavior, which then changes the experience, and eventually it changes the emotion. And an emotion is energy in motion, and this is what we're doing in meditation or yoga practices. We are moving that energy around. So the energy that sits on your thighs, that's grief. The energy that sits, in your heart, that's heartache. So what are you shifting? And in order to shift, you have to appreciate the gift of life itself. And when you start, I'd like to finish with this, but when you start to observe the self, the true self, the higher self, you are no longer part of the program, but now you are consciousness observing the program. And this is when you start to detach, this is where letting go comes in, and this is where change happens.
How do you keep your daily practice going? And if you've ever had hiccups in that process, how have you gotten back on the horse?
Yeah, of course, I've had hiccups. I've definitely had moments where, you know, when life gets too busy. Do you guys ever feel that? Like, yeah. When it just gets too much and then you're like, well, I don't have time to sit. I've experienced that. And then when I don't have time to sit for that, then life shows me sort of what it's about. But when I meditate, then I sort of have a very, very different experience of life. So what I've learned is really the battle that I have between my old self and the new self. And meditation helps you to really fine-tune the new self. Yeah, I also think it's, you know, a time of definitely a lot of us just waking up. You know, we're in this state of just sleeping, or we don't want to fix the issue or whatever it is because, you know, it's not my issue, right? So it's not really about just you as an individual, but what is it, you know, how is it affecting the collective at large? How is it affecting whatever it is that you're doing to the universe at large? And we're seeing this right now so much that people are waking up from sleeping, from being in that stagnation, from being in that stress. But healing's been, you know, it's been around for centuries, years, thousands of years. You know, healing, we can heal ourselves. We truly can. We just have to know the tools, and we have to believe, and we have to have structure and discipline. And I think consistency, and I think we've all sort of brushed up on that is the purpose, the consistency, the maintenance, to maintain a disciplined practice.